Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my review of the season 12 double episode finale of Supernatural on the CW. Of course, episode 22 being called Who We Are, and episode 23 being called Along the Watchtower. Excuse me. Want to apologize for my lateness making this video, but just work again. It's just derails things as it does every week. My review of the originals episode will also be out maybe later today, if not tomorrow or something. But I wanted to get to Supernatural first because it's Supernatural. So also slightly different setup. If you guys didn't notice, Supernatural episode now visible in the background from now on, right next to Freddy Krueger over there. I really like how it looks in the background for a video. I think Supernatural belongs there in each of my videos, so I'm happy about that. I'm not going to move the camera right now, but then of course got my Dexter and Walking Dead there, Originals calendar, little Daredevil mini poster, Vikings, Breaking Bad, so I'm pretty sad. Godzilla too. So yeah. There's been a lot of discussion about this double episode finale. First off, I did enjoy them running both episodes together, so it essentially played like a 2-hour finale. Of course, with the commercial, it was less than that, but I watched it online, since I missed it, so I didn't have to watch any commercials, which was nice. I did really enjoy it. I liked both episodes quite a bit. I do think Who We Are is probably slightly better than All Along the Watchtower. Because really, Who We Are sort of wrapped up the British Men of Letters storyline, at least this big part of it this season. And of course, the second episode, Along the Watchtower, dealt with the Lucifer baby stuff mostly. So they kind of covered both bases in 2 different episodes. Yeah, which was nice, and they still kind of crossed together, to a certain extent, I guess. And these 2 episodes are probably some of the best of the season, along with a good handful of others I liked and talked about along the way. But I liked how both of these played out for the most part. I mean, there's definitely some, I don't know if I want to say issues or some questions I have with how it all ended up in the end. But we'll talk about that when we get to All Along the Watchtower specifically. And again, I apologize for the bedhead thing going on here. I don't know if you guys didn't notice, you probably did now. It's not the worst, but it's not good either. But yeah, so Who We Are. We see, Sam's whole assault on, the British Men of Letters main base, and along with that, we have, Dean and, Elizabeth Blackmore's character, again, I forget her name for some reason, but, they're trying to get into Mary's head, trying to bring the good Mary back, essentially. Of course, Dean had hurt his leg using the grenade launcher to get out of, the bunker, because they were locked in there, and he finally, after they tried just to, chop at the concrete, he finally used a grenade launcher, and then he's able to get around and get the door open. And so that was good, finally see him get to put the grenade launcher to use. I know he was pretty happy about that, and I was too. So that was fun. And I also like the moment between Dean and Sam before Sam went off, to go after the British Men of Letters base. We've seen tons, probably hundreds of moments between the brothers over the years, touching moments. But that was another little one of them. I thought that was a pretty nice scene. And then, of course, we have Jody Mills helping Sam, on his assault on the bunker, along with a few, unknown hunters that we never really met before. I was wondering where Claire was in all this. I know she's been on her own for a while, and I think somewhere it showed, still on the screen it said they are in transit of her, they're still going after her, or in the process of. So I'm guessing she's semi-safe now, but I think it would have been nice to see her in this, finale episode here, with Jody Mills, assaulting the bunker. I think that would have been good. I don't really know why they didn't have her in this one out of all of them. But it was still fine, and I'm glad Jody survived. I'm glad Mary wasn't able to kill her. Alex was able to help her out to stop that too, it sounded like, so that's cool. I kind of wish we would have seen that like initial fight scene of Mary trying to kill Jody, though. I think that would have been kind of intense, because I would be kind of worried that they were actually going to do it. But luckily they don't. So that's good. And it is pretty satisfying with Sam headshotting the mistress at the end. That's good. Even as she tries to work out a deal with him and everything like that. They definitely picked the right creepy old actress to play her, though. I'll give her that. So that was good. And I wish I could go in more in detail about all of this, but as always, just comment below and we can talk more about it all you want. And as far as the Dean and Mary thing, I like that. Really good acting from Jensen Ackles, especially. I know Mary's been a really frustrating character for a lot of us this season, and this episode kind of helped, or these two episodes kind of helped in a way. But I still didn't really care for what they did with her this season, honestly. But I still liked, Jensen Ackles, again, his performance, especially in saying, how much he hates Mary, how he holds this against, everything against her to a certain way and a certain extent. But at the same time, of course, he still loves her because, she's, their mother and everything. And I just really liked how all that was written. I'm not going to try and, butcher it, by repeating some of the dialogue. But I like that scene. And they're able to bring her out of it, which is good. And then with that, though, we also got a pretty good fight scene between Dean and, Ketch. Which I liked quite a bit because, of course, he went after Mary and everything, knowing she was being held, before the assault began. And, of course, Dean, with his injured leg, Ketch is able to sort of beat him around a little bit at first. But then, luckily, Dean is able to get the advantage, and he knocks Ketch around, pretty well. Gets him all bloody in the face and everything like that, so that was good to see. And then Mary, of course, she finally ends up shooting and killing Ketch. Which I was pretty happy about. I was also glad they let Dean get the upper hand on him before Mary showed up, because Dean's a pretty, tough as nails, good fighter. They're just sometimes inconsistent, with how good he is, because sometimes he'll be able to outmaneuver or just outdo like a character like Cole, but then other times he'll just get randomly knocked out by anyone or messed with by anyone. Sort of like Castiel and Crowley's, uneven, powers sometimes. But, we don't need to talk about that again. But it was still good, a good satisfying moment there. And of course with Sam coming back at the end and, Mary, trying to be a little bit better for him and everything. That was, again, a touching scene. I just don't really like Mary now. And it looks like she's not going to be as heavily involved next season. Which is good. I know they don't want me to say that, but it's kind of the truth. And as far as All Along the Watchtower, I like this one. I think it had some, some issues that Who We Are didn't have, but I still thought it was a pretty enjoyable episode and finale to season 12. Probably as good as they could have done this whole part of the Lucifer's Baby thing. From how it kind of was this season. Of course, Casey, she's very close to giving, birth and everything like that. Castiel is trying to look after her. And, meanwhile, the brothers, end up finding them and such. And, of course, Crowley's still alive, putting himself in the rat and everything, and he's able to come back that way. And I like some of the time, the moments that Crowley spent with the brothers here as well. And I like that Dean, even mentioned Crowley as, like one of them, Sam, Dean, Castiel, and Crowley, So I'm glad they admitted he's, one of them at this point. And I thought Mark Pellegrino was, of course, really good as always as Lucifer. I didn't really like the Lucifer storyline this season, honestly, but when they brought back Mark Pellegrino, Lucifer's original vessel, and made it sort of permanent, I was really happy because Mark Pellegrino is able to elevate the Lucifer character, I think, and he gives him an extra dose of, charisma and just some kind of entertaining factor about him, So his dialogue all seems a little bit less dry. because Mark Pellegrino delivers it so well. So I liked him in this as well. He looks good in the brown leather jacket and everything, right? um, of course, him coming after him at the house is all pretty intense too. It was a little bit odd with Mary fighting him at the end, but we'll talk about that in a minute here. I really like seeing that other world, that alternate, reality where the apocalypse happened, and this is kind of what the world's like now. I liked how that all visually looked for the CW. Of course, you can clearly see it's all CG, but it is what it is with their budget and everything. But I think it still looked pretty cool, as well as that horned creature that we seen at one point. So this could easily be used as a way of bringing things in like that if they want to. And a really nice surprise in the episode was seeing Bobby. Jim Beaver, which I was pretty happy about. It is an alternate universe Bobby. As they say, it's not their Bobby. But still, I definitely geeked out when he took off his the thing covering his face and everything. That was pretty cool, and he still acted like Bobby, just didn't know the Winchesters, and he had a real big thing for killing angels and such. So that was fun. Some people want them to bring in this alternate universe Bobby into the show or something. I don't know. I still wish they'd find a way to bring their Bobby back permanently. I think that could happen. Like, if they're not going to have Castiel and Crowley as heavily involved, maybe they could bring back Bobby in a bigger role again, till the end of the series. I think that'd be good. I don't know. I at least want to see their Bobby again at some point, even if it's not, episode to episode again. But, we'll see. Then again, it's good that they don't bring back every character necessarily, but, I think we do need to see Bobby again. Anyway. So that was all pretty cool. Now the main things everyone's talking about with this finale, and that is the supposed deaths of both Crowley and Castiel. Since I watched it late, I had seen some articles or headlines about it and everything. So I knew it was coming, but I'm still surprised they did all this. I definitely didn't expect it, in this season. With Crowley trying to set up Lucifer to get him trapped in that world and, sacrificing himself, supposedly killing himself, stabs himself, and this time we actually see that light, in his eyes and mouth and everything, so it looks like Crowley's permanently dead. I kind of wish they would have given that more emotional punch, though, because it just kind of happens and that's it. And then it kind of feels like Crowley's sacrifice was all for nothing because it plays out for a little while more after that. So I don't know, I feel like they could have done it better. I know, there's, well, let's talk about Castiel's death first. Castiel, he also ends up charging in, trying to attack Lucifer. He gets him, he stabs him, but then he tries to come out on the other side with the brothers, and then Lucifer stabs him, and then you see the lights come out of him, and the wings and such. So Castiel appears to be permanently dead too. And what I was going to say is that I know, there's the explanation that in this kind of world that they're in, there should be deaths that, of really good, meaningful people that don't really warrant them. There should be, realistic deaths where it just sort of happens in a second, then they're gone, and they don't always get, an emotional, heart-to-heart send-off or something, really. And yeah, that's true, and in a way, it does kind of stick to the realism the show had, to kill characters like this at certain points, even, characters like Castiel and Crowley. But I don't know, if these are their deaths, I just feel like there could have been some bigger, more acted out scenes about it or something, because we just see, a second reaction, and that's it, I don't know. It was nice for Crowley, to end up sacrificing himself for the brothers and everything to go against Lucifer. So he kind of got, in a certain way, the last laugh on Lucifer, I guess. But again, I feel like they could have, had that set up better to make it feel like Crowley's death actually meant more. Because it feels like it's Mary that ends up trapping Lucifer at the end, which kind of, fizzled out Crowley's thing. But, it is what it is, I guess. And Mary, she ends up taking her knuckles to Lucifer and, punching him a few times, and then they both get trapped in the world. So maybe Crowley's death still did end up, closing the portal or something, but it was weird that there was that big delay with it then. I don't really know what happened. I felt like that part was a little bit confusing, too. Um, and, I know Lucifer is just letting Mary do that. He's just letting her, do whatever, and it wasn't really, doing shit to him. But, it just felt loud that Mary was the one to finally get all those shots in on him. It was, I don't really buy into Mary that much. Sorry, I don't think a lot of us do anymore either. But it was good to see Mary get trapped from there, too. I definitely don't think we've seen the last of Lucifer and Mary, though. I just think this is a way to sort of keep them out of the show for a little bit until they want to bring it back to that story. And I think they will. Like I said, they can easily use this world to have other threats come in or something, too. It might be a decent idea. But yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think... fortunately and unfortunately, I don't think Cass or Crowley are dead for good, though. Fortunately, because, I do really love them and everything. I think they're awesome. Misha Collins and Mark Shepard and everything. They're some of the best on the show. But at the same time, just like all the resurrections and like how many times characters have supposedly died then come back, it's sort of rendered things like this a little bit more ineffective, just because we're used to seeing them come back anyway. So it doesn't feel like we should be as worried when things like this happen, or as sad because we all expect them to come back now. So it's unfortunate that it's like that now, but it is what it is. Crowley, he might more be permanently dead than Cass. I think his chances are a little bit higher of not coming back, but I still think he will somehow. And I definitely think Cass will come back somehow. I think we'll see him again, maybe even next season. So overall, though, I did enjoy these 2 episodes. I thought Who We Are was a little bit better, but I still enjoyed Along the Watchtower quite a bit. And overall, I thought it was a fairly exciting end to Season 12. Looking forward to Season 13. Also, Lucifer's baby. He looked a little bit grown up already. He seemed pretty creepy hunched in the corner there. So curious about the actor they have playing him or something. We'll see how that goes. But I'm glad they wrapped up that part of the British My Letter storyline again, unless we have that boss on the phone, as the threat. It should be alright, but I'm just glad like the whole Ketch and mistress thing is over, I guess. If I had to rate Who We Are, I'd rate that one. I was actually going to rate it pretty high. I'd rate it somewhere between like a 9.3, 9.4. I almost rated it like 9.5, 9.6, but I don't think I should go that far. But I still liked it a lot. And All Along the Watchtower, I'd rate like between like an 8.9 and 9.1. Maybe a 9, somewhere in there. So let me know what you guys thought about this double episode finale, what you thought about Season 12 as a whole. We'll be doing more Supernatural videos within the next couple weeks. We'll probably do one ranking my favorite characters, as well as ranking all the seasons as well, so that should be fun. So follow me on Facebook, Twitter, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.